going to pay attention to the words I use here because I don't want to get sued. I don't want us to get sued. Veterans Daily. It's fine. There's a whistleblower motion to file. So in court, I forgot what it's called. It's a very weird word, from a employee that worked at a specific company. You can find that out on your own. In that whistleblower report, there's a quote from that employee says, "This company almost always, with every single veteran, no matter what conditions they had, they almost always submitted for mental health, specifically depression, secondary to chronic pain, and that rating almost always came back at 50% or higher." Now, that motion to file, and I'm not even going to go deep into it because I would really want a script to make sure I don't say what I'm not supposed to say. But that's a real thing, right? That's on the fraud side of the house. But there is some things we can actually take away from it that is good. One, there is evidence. There's medical evidence, journals, articles, all those good things from psychiatrists that actually matter that do attribute severe chronic pain to depression. That is absolutely real. And that's just, it made me think of really the evidence gathering piece. If that is you, absolutely go seek your primary care at the VA or private. Talk about your musculoskeletal condition, your lower back pain rated at 40%, whatever that looks like for you, your knees rated at 30%, and talk about how it inhibits your life. That's what I call an evidence-based claim, and that's much safer, okay, than going through that company who did that, where the only evidence is from one DBQ that was paid for, and they failed to report to their C&P examiner. We probably don't want to go deep into that topic, Jason, right now, but I wanted to bring it up because there is hardcore evidence, right? Objective evidence linking depression to chronic pain. Okay, back to secondaries.
So on that note of finding evidence, manufacturing evidence, not lying, okay, not manufacturing like making up, but manufacturing like pulling it all together and building it. One of the things that I suggest people to do is, I'll go twofold here. One, take all of your conditions, type them into the search engine and say, condition X, secondary conditions, or condition X, common secondary conditions, something to that effect. Multiple different ways. See what pops up. The Mayo Clinic shows up and says, these are the top 7 things that are attributed with this other condition. And if you have any of those, you might have a good chance there of being able to tie that in as your secondary, because it's already, like to Clay's point, documented that this is a common situation. It's almost like looking at a presumptive. It's like you're more likely to get this. So it makes it pretty easy. That's one thing. The other thing that you can do is you can also Google search, or whatever search engine you use. You can search any sort of studies that are looking at that type of stuff, whatever your situation is, right? So this condition due to that condition study, right? Maybe there's some university out there that did some sort of a study on it, which could be there, and you could utilize that as part of your evidence. I mean, why not? It's all things that are pointing to it, and it's a lot better than coming out of your mouth, right? I feel like this is that. No, there was a study with 40,000 participants, and this is what that study came back with. The Mayo Clinic comes back with this. My doctor says it's this. That's a little hard to refute. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about for kind of, I guess, common secondaries that could pop up would be like infections. If you had any sort of surgeries or anything like that that had some sort of a residual effect, or some sort of crazy scar, or or even if the VA messes up a surgery and has some sort of an issue. Extreme, nobody wants this stuff. Look, it's really a weird, and I know we've said it before, Clay, but it really is this weirdest world that we're in, where with your joke. It
Yeah.
is one of those weird things where it's like we're talking about, in some cases, really horrific things that it's like, but at the same time, there's money tied to it, and it's, it's here's the sad part. Don't be a veteran who has something that could be service connected or secondary
Yeah,
and
that
not be
doesn't.
compensated for it, right? And that's
Mhm.
what we're trying to bridge the gap here. And one of them would be, let's say, an example would be extreme diabetes. And I'm going to throw diabetes out there because diabetes is a presumptive condition, meaning that there's a lot of Vietnam era vets that have diabetes. Well, guess what? You can lose limbs. You can lose a foot. I mean, all kinds of things can happen. When that happens, that is now a secondary condition, and that could easily push you into the special monthly compensation world, and hopefully be able to help out a little bit with the additional costs of living and all that type of stuff. Don't forget about, in that type of an example, the adaptive car grants, the adaptive housing stuff. There's a lot of additional benefits to lower the cost burden for you and help increase the amount of money that you get per month. Organ damage from taking your Safeway bag of, I think that's Safeway. Was it a Safeway bag?
I think so. Hold on. I always got it
Yeah.
on me.
So yeah, from taking all of that, yeah, Safeway. Look at that. So taking your Safeway bag of medication is undoubtedly going to cause organ damage in time. I mean, I look. We've all taken a ton of Motrin and aspirin. We both know that that's not good. So just want to throw it out there, and really, a lot of I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Clay. I think we're on the same page. I think that the purpose why we do a lot of these videos and we dive into these weird little things is not really to be specifically on that specific topic, but to open the mindset up, or the specific piece within the topic, but it's to open up the mindset to go, oh, wow, the left and right limits are really wide. Maybe there is something there. I'll often throw in, when I'm talking about just service connection for various things, sometimes I'll throw in a motor tick, like a twitch. You have an uncontrollable twitch, a motor tick. That's service connectable, right? Who would ever think that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just don't. So it's like, just to open your mind up on how wide the benefits can really stretch. Anyway, any of that stuff pop any thoughts in your mind?
It did, yeah. So I usually start secondaries with this, and I love how you brought that up because theoretically,